All right, good evening, everybody. We are opening our meeting up at 5 o'clock, May 6th here. And in the spirit of reconciliation, the town of Diamond Valley acknowledges and pays tribute to the traditional territories of the peoples of Treaty 7, which includes the Blackfoot Confederacy, comprised of the Siksika, the Piikani, and the Kainai First Nations, the Dene of Tsuut'ina First Nation, and the Stoney Nakoda, including the Chiniki, Bearspaw, and Goodstoney First Nations, and the Métis Nation of Alberta. Thank you for joining us today. We're starting a bit early because we are going to go into closed. Before we do that, let's get through our check marks here, and then we'll take a motion to go into closed. So we have
A couple of amendments, right?
2 amendments.
That's correct.
2 amendments. First amendment is to add a closed session onto the backside of this meeting. And the second amendment, can someone remind me?
It's to postpone 7.3, the delegation from
Yes.
the Long Barrage.
Thank
They were up at the legislature today. I had some pretty good news for Premier on that.
Oh, excellent. Okay, great. Okay, so I would take a motion to adopt the agenda as amended.
Can you do the consent?
Councillor Bain gives us that. All in favor?
Consent?
Consent, yes. Okay, and sorry about that. Let's jump backwards and I'll take a motion to adopt the consent agenda.
I'll give you that motion.
Councillor Fleming gives us that. Anything that anyone wants to pull from the consent? Everyone's comfortable with that? Perfect. All in favor? Thank you very much. Unanimous once more. And with that all being said, let's take a motion to go into close. This is in regards to shared service agreements and SDAV application, section 20, and the first one was section 19.1 and 29.1. And a motion to go into closed. Councilor Rose gives me that. All in favor? Perfect. And we'll go into closed. We started our meeting at 5 with a brief closed session. Let me just flip back so I can reference that. Shared service agreement, section 19.1 and 29.1, and then STAV application, section 20. Nothing coming out of closed. So we will move straight into, sorry, I guess we're calling me back over at 6 o'clock, but with our guests audience here, welcome to Westwinds and you gentlemen as well. We are going to move into question period because we've already adopted our agenda. We had 2 amendments with that, which are noted on the agenda. And with that being said, I'll move straight into question period. We do have one question here from Dusty Williams, and I am just going to read that. Dusty is a local resident here. He's been in the council. He follows our meetings intently, and we thank him for that. And so his question reads, how is council considering Diamond Valley's long-term goals for watershed protection, infrastructure resilience, and future-ready economic development when evaluating proposals for new fuel-based infrastructure in environmentally sensitive service/commercial areas? This is something that is on the agenda tonight, kind of. Kind of.
Potentially, your worship.
Kind of. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it's related. Let's put it that way. Thanks. I am going to pass this one over to our planner, Carrie, to address because she is more prepared and she's a professional in this area. Carrie. Yeah.
Thank you, Mayor Kelly. So when administration evaluates development proposals, our role is to apply the town's land use bylaw and the regulations under that. Where an application is discretionary in its nature, the Development Authority may also consider any relevant municipal plans, policies, and other applicable bylaws that we have the authority given to us under the Municipal Government Act and regulations. So many environmental protections, such as contamination or watershed safeguards, are actually regulated under provincial and federal frameworks, rather than under our municipal frameworks. Council typically work broadly within those frameworks, and some of that comes through in our plans and bylaws, but not necessarily. Council recently did complete the new municipal development plan, which sets the long-term direction on growth and sustainability. And we're just beginning the process of working on our new land use bylaw that will bring together the regulations for both sides of town. Yay.
Yeah.
So it's during those policy processes that is really important for the public to come forward with their concerns about things like this, so that we can ensure that we're capturing them in a legal and adequate way to reflect the values of the community and will of council, so that when we actually go to issue decisions, those concerns are brought forward in that regulatory framework.
Awesome. Thank you, Carrie. Does any council members want to speak to this question in regards to that? So we can.
No, I'm just wondering, because of that, if I may.
Yeah.
Would it be wise for us to have a more detailed answer during the hearing and add that to the hearing? Because it is a relevant question to that, and have that read in as a concern for the resident. I know it's a question, but it's more of a, I read this question more as a statement about a concern for how that's being handled. So I'm just looking for administrative direction.
Yeah, I think, I'd suggest, your worship, I mean, it's directly related to question period. It is adjacent, I think, to the public hearing. So they can't come up under concerns, but I think it would, behoove those that are concerned to speak to it at the appropriate time.
Satisfied?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, CO Davy, that was the only question that was submitted. I believe that was yesterday or the day before.
That's right.
We don't have anything else in front of us. Okay. Okay, with that being said, we'll close the question period at 6:05. And I know Dusty's listening, so stay tuned, Dusty, and we'll continue to dive in a little bit more to this as we get to the final stages of that. Okay, so let's continue on with our agenda. And at this time, we're going to go to, we do have a statutory hearing. 6.1 bylaw 2026-130 land use bylaw amendment to amend bylaw 2021-06. This is where I get to read my script, correct, Verna?
Yes.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. So let's just dive into this so that we can get to the questions of council here if there's anything at the end. So I hereby declare the public hearing for bylaw 2026-130 land use bylaw amendment to bylaw 2021-06 open at 6:06. Public hearings are held pursuant to section 216-4 of the Municipal Government Act to hear representations from the public on proposed bylaws. I, Mayor Brendan Kelly, I am Mayor Brendan Kelly, and I will be the chair for this public hearing. All discussions or questions, whether by council members, administration, or speakers, must be directed through the chair. This hearing will be carried out in an orderly fashion. Please respect the views of everyone here and allow each person their time to speak without interruption. Each person wishing to speak will be given up to 5 minutes to make a presentation to council. Following any presentation, council may ask questions. Council will not debate this matter during the hearing. The decision regarding whether to grant the bylaw further reading will be dealt with later on in the agenda or at a subsequent meeting if deemed necessary. CAO Davy, please present the staff report and explain the purpose of the proposed bylaw, please.
Thanks, worship. I'll turn it over to planning.
Okay. Oh, hi ladies. Jonathan's just correcting me here. One question for you, because Jonathan's just noted something. Thank you very much. Please confirm that notification of the public hearing was provided in accordance with the act.
Confirmed.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Jonathan. Appreciate that. That's why you're my right hand man. All right, Mr. And hello, Carrie.
Hi.
Please present the staff report and explain the purpose of the proposed bylaw. Thanks, Jonathan.
Okay, good evening, Mayor and Council.
Evening.
I will say, we do have the applicants right behind us, so it's
John.
Robert Mueller and Matthew Burke. With, Miller Supply, I was gonna call you Miller Ag Supply, I changed that on me.
I get it.
Yeah, you
There's a
did.
few people.
Anyway, this application is to add gas bar as a listed discretionary use in the service commercial district. Should you pass this bylaw, then the applicant will also be proceeding to a development permit for a gas bar and the permitted use mini storage facility at 261 3rd Street Northeast. To talk a little bit about just sort of like laying the groundwork. In our service commercial area, we have major and minor service stations are listed as discretionary uses. So you can have a gas station in the service commercial area. But in this situation, our definition of a gas station includes a service bay, both major and minor, and it's that is the definition. So this application is not providing a service bay, they're just providing refueling, and then, of course, the minor service, mini storage rather. So that's why we're bringing the application to add gas bar to the service commercial area. There are a couple of existing service stations for automotive repair. There's a lube and there's another service station or automotive repair. And then there's also a car wash would sort of fall into that definition as well. Gas bar, however, is a listed discretionary use in the central business district. And service station major is a discretionary use in the CB1, so that would be the fast gas location. So we do have some service stations downtown. The gas bar use, I would argue, is probably more appropriately located in a service, the service commercial district, as opposed to having this type of use within our downtown district. So moving on from that, that was just setting the groundwork of our land use bylaw. In the neighborhood to the north, we have our public service lot, which is, we refer to it as West End Regional Services. It's operated currently by Aquaterra. This parcel is directly north. This parcel directly north of the subject parcel has a storm pond on it at the top of an escarpment. The storm pond receives drainage from the entire service commercial district, and I had included that drainage system in the mapping package. So every lot through the service commercial area has been drained into that, and that pond is part of the Diamond Valley Stormwater Management Plan, and it has been designed to accept the capacity of the runoff for that district. So to the east, parcels are zoned service commercial as well. There's a variety of businesses in the business and office park. We refer to it as JKR, so everybody is familiar. Anyway, so there's a number of different uses. There's manufacturing uses. There's also a outdoor storage application or use directly to the east of that as well. To the south is a also zone service commercial with a light industrial warehouse and office. And that particular parcel shares the approach with the applicant's parcel. And then to the west is the public service, which is the escarpment, and the lands at the below is where our community gardens are, and that is protected by an environmental reserve dedication. So, so there's some development constraints So without getting too into the weeds about a development application, because this is not a development application, it's just whether or not we want to consider the use. But we're going to talk about what the development constraints are for the site and how those can be addressed at development permit time. So topography and escarpment setbacks, the subject is bounded by steep escarpments along the north and west property lines. So I talked about that, that's West End, and then the community gardens. Again, they will require, evaluation during the development permit stage. So we have setbacks from top or toe of an escarpment, that's in our land use bylaws, we have to consider that at development permit stage. Stormwater management plan and downstream infrastructure. So again, we talk about the overland drainage. So in service commercial area, that whole, there's no the drainage system is in our ditch. Essentially, that's the most polite way to say this. And then the pond is to the north. Spill containment environment protection. So the proposed gas bar use introduces the handling and storage of petroleum products requiring robust containment and risk mitigation measures. Speaking on this, this is what your question period spoke to about the Environmental Protection Act. And so there are regulations. This is not within our purview to consider. It is within the purview of the applicant to consider. So also in your package, you'll see a letter from the applicant's design engineer. And he will talk, or he's highlighted some of the mitigation measures that are proposed. And the design team is actually a team that deals with surface safety developments. So it's not just, you know, me throwing up my farm fuel tank. Okay, so underground and surface right of ways, again, there's a utility right of way that extends across the two parcels, 260 and 261 3rd Street. That's at the north of these two parcels directly across the street. It really serves no purpose, but nobody's ever requested to have that registered right of way removed. I'm not talking about the right of way for the storm pond. There's just this funky additional right of way across there. Access and transportation considerations. So I mentioned that there's a joint access. There's two accesses onto this property, which would work really well for refueling, so we could have an access and an egress for, especially for larger vehicle movement. It is within 800 meters of the Highway 7, which will trigger the requirement for roadside development permit. The applicant have applied to Alberta Transportation, and they have been informed that they will be required to prepare or have prepared a traffic impact assessment. So for those of you that aren't familiar with that, you'll have a traffic engineer, they'll study the intersections, they'll study the traffic volumes, the site plan that is proposed, and then they'll make an assessment of what are the requirements, including whether or not there will be necessary to upgrade, say, the approaches into the parcel or intersections in the neighborhood of this application. Municipal servicing constraints, really, they'll just need to extend the sanitary services and the connection to municipal water will be a requirement as it is available there, and a land use bylaw requirement. So compatibility with adjacent uses. It is located in close proximity to our water treatment facility and environmental reserve lands. So there, I did mention that there's already different service station operations in the area, different contractor services. However, that doesn't mitigate the importance of ensuring that they provide the spill containment on site. Okay, so we're not anticipating that our ditches are to accept their containment, their spillage. Regulatory and approval requirements. So in addition to municipal approvals, the proposed development may be, again, are required to have a Alberta Transportation Economic Corridor approval, Alberta Environment and Protected Areas approval, as well as building and fire codes and industry best practices. So our provincial fire code heavily regulates service stations, as well as building safety codes. Occupational health and safety has a little bit in this about having, excuse me, measures for emergency alarms for spills. And also having the materials on site in the event of a spill, like you see when you go to UFA and they've got all that spill containments there. Going under policy review. Pardon me. Oh, you're good. Thank you so much. You're talking a lot.
Regulation, it complies.
You're talking a lot.
I'm sure your throat and mouth are getting dry. So.
Pardon me? Okay. So upon review, we did this twice with our team. And the fire department didn't have any concerns with the land use bylaw. They did suggest that at development permit, the turning radius for a fire apparatus will be required. They'll also want to see an emergency management plan prior to opening day. Municipal enforcement had comments about crime prevention through environmental design, incorporating layout, lighting, etc. And then civic operations, their consideration was the impact of having a joint access with the adjacent business, degradation of the joint approach, open storm ditch, and the open pond on adjacent parcels require a fuel spill plan and emergency procedures at the time of development permit. We did receive one letter of comments from an adjacent property owner, and their concerns are summarized. And the first point that he made, or that was made, was that in our general purpose statement for the service commercial area, it says it's to locate within the district and on adjacent lands or lots adjacent to Highway 7. But the full purpose statement for the service commercial area states to provide for a range of commercial and light industrial uses, which may be accompanied by retail sales, businesses and professional offices, light manufacturing, warehouses and outside storage of materials and equipment. Uses requiring high customer visibility from the highway are encouraged to locate within this district and on lots adjacent to Highway 7. Within our current boundaries of Black Diamond, the service commercial area is really the only district where bulk fuel gas bar is a viable listed use. They expressed traffic safety and changes in flow and intensity of traffic, and a traffic study should be undertaken. Again, we talked about that. The applicant is aware that a TIA will be required, and that will address traffic issues. Long-term physical condition of 3rd Street and access and egress of existing businesses. So this is, we've got 1, 2, 3 vacant lots in the service commercial area. There's no question that eventually this road is going to need to be upgraded. We approved the standard that it was built at. at such a moment. So we can look forward to having to budget for that in the future. There is currently several businesses that have heavy traffic, including lumber deliveries, manufacturing, and delivery of spirits, repurposing 40-foot shipping containers. That's directly opposite of this site. And well drilling operations, those are big rigs, heavy rigs, our own rigs going in and out of our water treatment facility as well. Risk management plan for spill containment mitigation is another concern. Again, and then into our town storm sewer system, groundwater contamination, property values, fire and lightning and explosion hazards. So in the package that's provided to you, I did also include the applicant's design engineer letter, and they have at development permit application, they'll provide detailed civil engineering drawings to confirm that all of these addressed environmental issues can be addressed, as well as I said, the CTM Design Services has provided a rebuttal for some of those issues. I don't know if we need to go through the pros and cons. So I do want to say we have not issued a gas station permit in our most recent one was the year 2000. So I imagine that some of these regulations will be probably a higher standard from what we're typically used to in the light of the flare being our old town gas boom, oil and gas boom town era. We've come a long way. Anyway, administration recommends approval of bylaw 2026-30 as the proposed amendment is consistent with the intent of the municipal development plan and the general purpose for the service commercial district. It provides an opportunity to accommodate needed service commercials while ensuring that site-specific impacts can be appropriately addressed during the development permit process. If you have any questions for me, I'd be happy to respond at this time.
Thanks, Denise. Council, questions for clarity? Well-written package, a lot of stuff is there for us. Yeah, I think more, I think it's in front of us. Okay. Thank you. Great. A lot of detail there. You just, yeah. what's your- No, I'm just gonna go, yeah, so. I'm still gonna ask, yeah, CO Davy, has the town received any written submissions that are not included in the staff report?
They have not, your worship.
Okay, awesome, thank you very much. It's fine. Will those representing the applicant please come forward, introduce yourselves, if you guys are gonna speak? Are you guys gonna speak today? I don't have to if you don't want to, but I'm giving you the opportunity to. If you wanna say anything tonight, you can.
Yeah, I don't need to do any additional. Denise did a great job of outlining our intent and what we're gonna do, so, but I'm absolutely happy to introduce myself if anybody wants to know.
Yeah, you wanna give us your names? You can just say hi, you don't have to, yeah.
Hello, everyone. I'm Robert Miller. I'm owner of Miller Supply. And, yeah, it's, this is Matt Burke.
Hey, Robert, hey, Matt, thanks for coming. Yeah, awesome. Okay, so we're done with that. Presentations, persons addressing council should state their name and address. I don't know if there's anyone here to speak on this. I have to read through all this anyway, so I'll just,
You do.
sorry for all this. It's just part of the MGA. Person should address, persons addressing council should state their name and address, indicate if they're speaking on their own behalf or on behalf of a client, company, or a group of citizens. and may state how they are affected by the bylaw. Council may ask questions of each speaker following their presentation. Administration, has anyone registered to speak either online or in person in favor of the bylaw? In favor is the
No, your worship.
awesome. Thank you very much. Okay. Is there any person in the gallery who wishes to speak in favor? I imagine you two are in favor, but you don't need to speak to that. Seeing none, we'll just carry on. Administration, has anyone registered to speak either online or in person opposed to the bylaw?
They have not.
Okay. Is there anyone here that wishes to oppose the bylaw? Seeing none, we will carry on. Okay, new information. I will now ask if any person, either online or in person, wishes to address any new information provided at this hearing. Council may also ask further questions for any speaker. This is a lot more interesting when there's like a gallery full of people, just so that you guys are aware. These can really go long. But we've been through quite a few of these where there's nobody here to speak to anything, so just bear with me, I'm halfway through. Does any person in favor of the bylaw wish to address any new information? Does any person opposing the bylaw wish to address any new information? Does administration wish to address any new information?
No.
Does the applicant wish to address any new information? Okay. Is there anything else that you think is important for council to consider that you have not had the opportunity to say? Okay. Final questions. Any councillor may ask the administration through the chair any relevant questions. Council. I do have a question. Tell me about that road.
Yeah, the road. It's on our
Tell
radar
me
now.
about that road, because that has been up for a long time. Everybody, I mean, when you're going out of that, so if you're at the stop sign
The big bump.
facing south, that's clearly a culvert or something under the road that's bulging out of the road. We're gonna have heavy vehicles going in and out of there, much likely more heavier than what Rona deals with right now, especially if they're loaded. Can you give us a little bit of context, maybe some insight? I know Craig's not here tonight, but anything?
I can, your worship. I know I don't want to speak for Craig, however, that road's been earmarked for replacement for a long time.
Okay.
Frankly, adding more to it is largely immaterial.
Right.
We've slated for replacement. I think it will likely come as part of the IMP. I cannot tell you what year that will be completed.
Right.
Not sure planning has anything to add to that.
In its current state, manageable for a couple of years, given the increased payload, is it? I know it's probably gonna deteriorate quicker than it would have, but I don't want these guys to start a project and then a year after, it's like, wow, the whole road, everything's being torn up, and then all of a sudden you have business impacts, everyone's being impacted by a road closure, so.
It's gonna be possible either way.
Okay,
I think from Craig, the road certainly needs to be replaced. It should have been replaced past.
sure.
It was not, so here we are.
Okay.
I don't know if planning has anything to add to that, or if that sums it up.
Yeah, construction is gonna happen when construction happens and people are gonna be impacted.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I just was looking, I'm mindful of the new development up by, what's it, the furthest south end. We're dealing with that very tiny road, the golf course road, where the new development's going in.
Yeah.
I know that as development progresses there, that road's gonna deteriorate quicker. Because of the manner that it was put in during the flood or just after the flood. So I'm just cautious of.
Absolutely, worship, and I think it's been on administration's, it's been on our line of sight for quite a while. From Craig, he does want to see this as a top priority for roads within the IMP. How that will measure up against water and sewage is yet to be determined.
Right.
But again, right now, as it is, that road absolutely has to be replaced.
Yeah, fair enough. And certainly would like to see a sidewalk at least on one side, given the foot traffic that we have with Tim Hortons and Hard Knocks. And yeah, we want that connectivity there. I won't get into the, how's the infrastructure underground or anything like that. It's, when it comes up, as Carrie mentioned, it's gonna have to be done. I guess I did want to ask another question. Denise touched on this about the last approval of a gas station in the early 2000s. We have fast gas down on the main street right next to the river. Have we had any environmental impacts? Has anything ever happened since fast gas has been there? Have we had a spill? Yeah, just to give, specifically thinking about the question that was asked, maybe put some of our residents' minds at ease when it comes to the environmental factor of this whole thing. Has there been anything that's been reported?
I think, and I don't know this for a fact, but I think that they replaced that tank, that above ground tank that's on the north side of their building.
Mhm.
I think that has happened in recent years. They may have been buried. I wasn't here when the gas station that gas station approval was issued in 2000.
Okay.
We did have an interesting situation though, where a big vehicle got stuck under the Esso in Turner Valley, if you recall.
Was that-
Happened last month.
Yeah, that was a wide load that tried to pull in there. Yeah,
It was a flat deck with a shipping container on it.
that's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
so my point in that is it would be nice if we had a place where
An appropriate
heavier
place.
trucks or bigger trucks and trailer units could fuel in town. Right now, for example, locally, we use fast gas in Longview because it's really easy to pull in truck and trailers. The UFA in High River or Petro-Canada. Those are sort of like our local refueling options, but we've got 3 RV storage within a mile of town or
Right.
in town.
Yeah.
So I mean, and 8% of our 8% of our traffic on Center Avenue is truck and trailer units.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for noting that. Yeah. Yeah, I remember that report. Awesome. That's worth noting.
Oh, I just had a quick question.
Sure. Yeah.
So, with the new development, you guys know there's a new development, in town, kind of by the hospital. They're spotted to have a gas station there as well. It's in their development plans. Is that gonna be like more of a commercial use too, where it's gonna be higher? Okay,
Through the chair,
yeah.
from a planning perspective, we do not regulate business competition in the land use bylaw.
Okay.
Build it. Okay. Does that answer your question?
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think, in large part, I think my question's answered as well, along with Dusty's too, is we've got 3 gas stations and I haven't heard of any environmental issues. And so I don't see it's good to have the concern, but certainly you do your due diligence and ask the questions. Okay, council, you had your hand up for a second. Did you have something?
Really, it was just going back on kind of what Denise was saying, is like with what we have currently for gas. And we haven't had an environmental, the standards are so high now.
Mhm.
Like, I'm confident now, I'm more confident that this new gas station would be no impact than fast gas.
Right.
Right,
Yeah.
and the fast gas is right on the water system,
And was underwater at one point.
right? And if the competition drives someone out of town, maybe close to the river is a better option.
Noted. All right, I think that's it for my questions. That's it. Last call for council. You guys are okay? Girls okay? All right, so let's move on to the last part here. If council is satisfied that they've obtained sufficient information, is council satisfied that they have obtained sufficient information from this public hearing? We'll go down the line. Councillor Bain,
Yes.
Councillor Fleming,
Yes.
Councillor Gordon,
Yes, sir.
Councillor Bros.
Yeah.
Mayor Kelly, yes, okay, perfect. Having PTSD to the one we had at the town hall now, sorry, it's something that happened a while ago. Twitching over here. Okay, that was another time. Okay. I would like to thank all those who spoke or provided their submissions for their comments. Council will take all information into consideration when deciding on this matter. Everybody's okay. I just want to make sure I read this right. Yeah, we're satisfied. I now declare the public hearing for bylaw 2026-130 closed at 6:38. Okay. Yeah, so I'm just gonna find out exactly where. That's right here, okay? 74 motions. 74. Yeah. Oh, excuse me, okay.
8.1.
All right, so just for your sake, gentlemen, we do have parts of the agenda to get through before we actually come back to this part. So you're more than welcome to stay. I encourage you to stay. I'm sure you want to hear the answer. That's probably why you showed up tonight. So don't run away on us. Okay, we're gonna move past the hearing and let's move right into delegations. I will invite West Winds, Loren, Ingalls, Executive Director. I saw Don over there. If all of you or some of you, we can pull up more chairs if you don't have to sit if you're gonna stand.
No, I'm gonna sit.
Okay, good. Okay,
I'm gonna just let you look at a little bit
Yes.
of your pictures.
thank you. Well, if you guys want to get up and go look at that, I don't know. Go take a look. They're gonna get started. Yeah,
I'll consider it.
I have seen them. Multiple
What do you guys
times.
want to see first?
Yeah, there you go. Actually, probably that's that.
Oh, no, I saw it.
Have you seen these?
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, seen them?
Yeah.
They're in the package? Good.
Yeah.
All right, we're good.
These are for the audience. Hey, let's have each of you introduce yourselves. Once Jonathan's back here with us. Thanks for coming in. Looking forward to this.
Wanna go first?
Let's start with Dawn.
Right here.
My name is Don Harry, Chair of the Board of West Winds Communities.
Loren Eccles, I'm the CEO for West Winds Communities.
I'm Norm Landry. I'm a senior project manager with Blossom Projects.
Nice to have you. Thanks for joining us tonight. So we've been briefed and have seen this, and I'm gonna just allow you to just take it from here and we'll wait. Well, if we have questions.
Yeah, you can interject at any time. So I'm just gonna take you through our PowerPoint presentation. And just thank you very much for the opportunity to present today on a very exciting project for Diamond Valley. Just some context for Norm Landry. He's supporting us in our development planning, providing project management services. West Winds Communities is a not-for-profit organization that proudly serves the Foothills region. We're in our 66th year this year. We operate seniors lodges and affordable housing. We're currently managing 411 units. In town here, we have High Country Lodge, Valley Villa, pretty much across the street, and Glenmead Park. Our organization brings extensive both operational and redevelopment planning for seniors housing. Clickers. I'll be looking, nodding.
Vern is good for it.
Approximately 5 years ago, West Winds identified the need to replace High Country Lodge, which is legislated under the Provincial Housing Act and funded by local municipalities such as Diamond Valley and the province. The lodge was built in 1977 and underwent a significant renovation in 1999 as it was sinking. And the facility no longer meets modern standards with declining market relevance and accessibility challenges, particularly in the size of resident units, in accessibility in the resident bathroom. There's not turning radius for walkers. Everybody has a walker. And our common areas are too small. While renovation was considered, analysis indicated only a 10-year remaining life cycle. Therefore, significant further investment would be required. Redevelopment was therefore determined to be the most responsible long-term solution. West Winds has since acquired on April 9th last month the provincially owned site adjacent to High Country Lodge. Its municipal address is 711 Government Road, and it's located just west of Glenmead Park 3 and north of the hospital, or northwest of the hospital. Demand remains strong. The current wait list is 69 households, and the new site enables the development of a modern lodge alongside additional affordable housing and assisted living. The affordable housing, now with affordable housing being a shared priority of both the provincial and federal governments, I can't emphasize enough how this presents a generational opportunity. Just in the last 3 years alone, the province has dispensed between 77 million and $200 million a year in funding for affordable housing and for the lodge program. Prior to that, we're lucky if we saw anything bigger than $10 million. So it's just huge, the level of commitment that's being undertaken. We are requesting for council to consider over the next number of months, a commitment of $1.25 million. We are required in order to apply for provincial funding to have a 5% contribution from our local municipality towards the project. Council's investment is required to enable submission to the 2027 Affordable Housing Partnership Program, which is called AHPP, and it unlocks provincial and federal funding. It's a stacking program. So we have to provide a commitment. We need a municipal commitment that unlocks an opportunity for us to apply provincially, and then the feds come in last. And of course, you can't do them all at the same time. It's all one at a time. Our preliminary project cost is $25 million, includes roadways, furnishings, and $2026. We've completed a Class D budget, and it contains a 30% contingency because it is done at a preliminary stage. We look forward to the opportunity to collaborate and partner with council to advance this important project. So I just wanted to identify just on the site map that number 6 up in the northeast corner is the existing High Country Lodge. Phase 1, this will be multi-phase project. Phase 1 is number 1, 2, and 3 listed on the map, which is the new High Country Lodge, which is a 50-unit replacement lodge, and site infrastructure, maintenance, and woodworking shop, recycling, and parking. The new lodge would house an additional 9 to 18 residents, depending on occupancy. We would also have future phases of development. Number 4 is 20 to 30 units of affordable housing, mixed population, singles, seniors, and families. Again, layering on that AHPP program. Number 5 would be 14 to 16 type B continuing care units. We are actively exploring third-party partnerships for that. Type B is also called assisted living, but the province has changed the nomenclature. And there'll be no changes to the existing Glenmead Park 3 properties. Situated southwest of the existing lodge and set back from the ridge, the new lodge will have a beautiful western view of the mountains and river valleys. It'll be absolutely stunning. We'll be looking down on Brenton's house. Westwind proposes to build a new 2-story, 50-suite lodge. It'll be slab on grade with no basement, and that's because of the soil conditions there. Just make it guarantees we won't be renovating it in 20 years because it's shipped or removed. Improve larger common area spaces and increased amenities. Functional design focused around the core of the building, the common area spaces, meaning shorter distances for seniors to walk, to access things like recreation and meals. Residents will have additional opportunities to recreate, things we don't have in the current lodge, like a media room, a larger library, flex spaces, private dining, that can all be integrated in the design. Westwind has completed the preliminary design of the new lodge, and the concept was well received by the existing residents and Glenmead Park tenants. Glenmead Park in particular was more excited because the timeline is not immediate on it. It's a slight V shape with common areas located in the middle, and it's designed to focus on the beautiful east-west views, in addition to a patio on the south end. Suites will be sunny and cheerful. The building will be surrounded with landscaping, so every suite will have an appealing vantage point. To date, Westwinds has completed our ESA phase 1 and geotechnical for the site, in addition to checking the site servicing requirements with the municipality and the province. Some of our community consultation was completed just with our local residents, tenants, and community members, and we'll be planning our community consultation for local feedback following this meeting council. Our anticipated timeline is approximately 5 years, depending on funding. We've secured the land title from the province that took 7 years to do. And our goal in 2026 is to hopefully secure funding in principle from council and finish our community consultation. We'll apply for provincial funding in 2027 or late in 2026 and beyond. If we're not successful, Westwinds can boast that we're pretty successful accessing this provincial funding Out of the 3 times we've applied, we've been successful twice for projects in Okotoks. And the federal financing will be dependent on securing the provincial funds. We'll just take you through the lodge suites, and we've got just a larger graphic. The new proposed lodge suites are modern, accessible, and comfortable private suites. I live in Okotoks, and I would love to live here. That'd be fabulous. We'll have 32 suites with kitchenettes and walk-in closets. The kitchenettes include a small sink storage and small fridge. The space is 70% bigger than our existing studio suites that we currently have. In fact, they're bigger than every unit that we have in the lodge. The smallest suites are. And it just tells you how times have changed expectations for space and functionality. We'll have 10 barrier-free suites with kitchenettes, and so those are all universally accessible. We'll also have 8 one-bedroom suites with kitchenettes and walk-through closets to the function. And those suites are 60% bigger than our largest studios that we use currently to house couples at High Country Lodge. The decision before council is municipal approval of a contribution in principle. I'm not asking for money today or tomorrow, but I am asking for a commitment and to explore and confirm funding approaches by the fall of 2026. With that commitment, it will enable Westwinds to proceed with senior government applications provincially, and then recognizing that $1.25 million is a lot of money. There are many options for council to consider. This list is not exhaustive. They were probably the most obvious. There could be a direct capital contribution to the project, so cash. That contribution would be contingent on successful federal and provincial. So we don't need $1.25 million to apply for funding in January. We wouldn't need it until construction starts, but we would need a commitment. There could be a financing, debenture, or borrowing authorization done by council if they wish. Again, it doesn't need to be drawn today or tomorrow, not until we're signing loan agreements with CMHC and we want to verify those things are in place. And that would be hot on the heels of us having a building permit and be construction ready. Again, it's just a pre-authorization to borrow to demonstrate commitment, but to not draw on funds unless the project is fully funded and ready to go. There also could be a waiver of service contributions. Development fees and permits could be waived, providing municipal contribution. So any one of those 3 in combination to come up with a 5% contribution would be considered by the province and the feds as part of a municipal contribution by the town of Diamond Valley. Just with regard to financing, the $1.25 million could be financed over the amortization of the project, which is 40 years, which is the financing that we're seeking at a federal level too. Of course, it will cost more to borrow over that period of time. What council's investment unlocks? It unlocks a $25 million community investment in the project, that we can access the Affordable Housing Partnership Grant Program, which is extremely competitive. Just this last round, there were $700 million in applications for $200 million. It also unlocks federal CMHC and Canada Homes financing. The new Build Canada Homes department is actually the grant arm of the federal government for affordable housing, and CMHC is the financing arm. So they've even made it more complicated. You have to do 2 applications instead of 1. And at the end of the day, we have a new line of community asset that will continue to provide housing and services for residents of Diamond Valley and the surrounding community for at least 40, probably 50 years, just like the existing lodge. So our ask is consideration of approval for $1.25 million, which is a 5% contribution. It doesn't need to be more than that, only needs to be 5%. Budget costs less, then it costs less. Hopefully it shouldn't cost more with that big contingency you have in the time. We are looking to secure a letter of support for our provincial application through the HPP program. Slide. We would seek a partnership with council to develop an MOU on the project contribution. For all this confirmation to be in place by November 2026 to meet the intake for 2027. So just in closing, this is a leveraged investment, not a standalone cost. Every dollar from the town unlocks $19 in external funding, including what's in addition to Westlands funding. Together, we can deliver a new modern retirement living residence, and we're ready to proceed. And I would just entertain any questions from council. The rest of the presentation I have is just based on questions I thought you may ask, and we can bring the slides up.
Awesome. Councillor Bain.
I have a couple of questions. The 0.25 million or 5% of the projected cost. Are we offering an open-ended amount if the project costs a lot more? We're required to fund 5% of it?
You are. So if the project costs $100,000 more, you'd be required to provide 5% more. Of course, as the project's developed and we finalize the design, we'll go from a Class D budget to a Class B budget, which will refine the costs and better ascertain the client's risk for ourselves and council. Obviously, we need to make sure this is financially viable for all parties considered. We're not building the Taj Mahal. We're going to build something that's lovely and that's very nice, but not luxurious. And so we really want to stay below that time frame in the next 3 years, which is when we're hoping to secure approvals.
Second question, is there currently a wait list to get into these
Into the
units?
lodges, yeah. So currently High Country Lodge has 41 units. And our master list for all 3 communities has 69 seniors waiting. So they prioritize first, second, and third choice on it. And out of those 69, we have about 26 that are interested in High Country Lodge. There's a marketing philosophy called compaction. So your newest facility is always your most popular, and High Country Lodge remains full, even though it's our smallest facility in terms of suite size compared to Sandstone and Okotoks and Medicine Tree Manor and High River. And there's just a lot of need in this local community. So we know it'll be full. The response from Glenmead Park, which are adjacent to the lodge, was, when can I move in? When will this be built? They're so excited. The lodge residents are more like.
And the last question that I have right now, are you permitted to offer priority to locals?
Yes, actually we are.
Get on the list.
So the province actually has a priority weighted system, and it allows us to set 30 points for local municipal priorities. 25 out of those 100 points are for people who live specifically in our region. So something you could do is you could say, I want a 6-month residency requirement, or I want even a higher priority for High Country Lodge residents. That could be part of the contribution funding. The other 5 points are for couples, where a spouse has been lost. So somebody who's recently lost a spouse, we often find is more at risk and needing lodge accommodation more so than anybody else. So we prioritize people who live in our region for our housing.
Thank you.
Great questions.
Great
Yeah.
question.
I had a question, just
Ashley.
like with the funding, it kind of goes through, I can't remember the acronym used for that first line of funding, then it goes to provincial, and then it goes to federal. What if you kind of get hard stop at that provincial, then is the whole project done if you can't get that provincial funding to access the federal funding?
We end up applying again and again and again. There is an opportunity to debrief and see how we can refine our project funding application. For sure, our first funding round, we're not going to have a Class A budget done by January. We'll probably be maybe at a C budget, and that might be something they say to us. Get more of those approvals in place. Of course, it's more risky for us because we're spending money. As soon as we apply for a development permit, there's a ticking timeline on that because there's costs for continuing to hold that, even the building permit too. But those are typically things that we see that they want to see more construction ready and in future applications. It's interesting in the lodges that they've approved over the last 2 years, not one of them has been construction ready. So I'm hoping that will weigh into our favor. Locally, the most recent lodge approved is a replacement lodge for Vulcan. And their lodge was built in, I think, 1963 or 64, substantially renovated in 1999.
Can you speak to how full that lodge is so that
That
these
lodge
guys,
is 50% occupied.
just to give you an idea of like, if sometimes the government just, there's no rhyme or reason when the funding comes
Why they
in.
do that. But you're not gonna get like, for like, that just blew my mind.
Well, advocacy, I think, is extremely important, and our chairman,
Don,
Harry, is the best.
Yeah. Don will drive up to Edmonton for a 15-minute meeting and he will not leave without an answer. Even if he doesn't like it, and he lets us know that he doesn't like it in our meetings, but we could not do a lot of things without Don and Lauren as well.
But Don just does an amazing job, just with his prior experience working in oil and gas and familiarity with advocacy really has allowed us to be really successful provincially and securing funding.
No, I really like this.
Any follow-up, Ash?
Oh, sorry, a plug flew in my eye and I was literally ready to ask a question and now I'm like, I think there's still a bug in my eye.
Well, if you
So,
need to go.
yeah, I'm gonna check on
You need
it.
to.
quick.
John, I'm sure you've got some boiling.
No, I'm actually really impressed with this. I love the idea.
Yeah.
I think your ask is very clearly stated. It probably has the motions that we need to have coming out of the delegation. Question I do have regarding the, and it might not be applicable here, but with the federal government pushing for multi-unit facilities, does that and the allowance that they give for the funding mechanisms, as well as their approach in hastening that, does that impact the timeline here potentially?
It could. A big priority, Build Canada Homes for smaller municipalities.
Yeah.
And smaller organizations like ourselves versus cities, millions and millions, is they want to see bundled projects. So the first thing they're going to ask us is, can you bundle affordable housing, the assisted living? So in a project that could be done over 3 to 5 years. I know financially for ourselves that High Country Lodge is a significant commitment for us, and we have to complete one project in its entirety first before we could look at anything else, even though they're separate bank accounts for the affordable housing. It's a separate operational entity from the lodge, but just the opportunity to minimize risk, make sure that we have sufficient funding will require us organization ability to be all on it. But I know that would make it much more attractive, and that's why we're trying to
That's the third party you're pursuing.
yeah,
Yeah.
for the assisted living, that they be an owner operator and the infrastructure for housekeeping and food services be provided by us, so it keeps their costs down. So we're trying to bundle it. Timing will be everything, whether we're able to secure an assisted living operator that's simple, and of course, we prefer somebody who's in alignment with us, so that we're not for profit.
Right. Answer. Good to know.
Yeah.
Keep our ears to the ground.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's been on, what are we, 2 years?
Well, there's a need.
No
There's a need in the community.
Oh, and it goes back further than that,
Yeah,
but
so-
seriously,
Yeah,
we've been digging in for 2 years since we've been closer to some of the Okotoks projects
So when did we do that housing study? The Black Diamond side? It's almost 5 years
before
ago.
amalgamation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was identified,
And I'm sure that
big flags.
the issues are only more compounded now than this and then.
Well, the wait list speaks to that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Colin, did you have any thoughts or comments?
Oh, not only does it fill a need, but it also looks a lot nicer than what's there right now.
Will be a lot more modern,
Yeah.
and those are preliminary too.
Yeah.
Loren and company brought 3 different ones that I was at the open house at High Country Lodge. And there were 3 different renderings there, and none of that's finalized, but you know, the important part here too is that West Winds, Loren and her team, they fill all of this up until, like, they've been funding this on their own, like as an organization. They bring the project, this is a very complete package to present to us. Lorraine and Don are ready for all of our questions. And, 5%, yes, 1.25 sounds like a lot of money. Especially when we have other ongoing conversations, in the community, but this fills a great need and, High Country Lodge has been well used since it's been built, so. I'm more than happy to support this, but, we'll have a conversation about that when we make some motions. So if there's no other questions, we'll, allow you to go stage left. Yes, thank you so much for coming in tonight. Thank you, Don.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan. And thank you for coming in as well.
For all the technical questions.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you put a package together like this, it's hard to come up with questions.
Or I'll just leave you the narrative, just don't reference anything. Perfect.
I thought it was theirs.
Thank you.
Oh,
Oh, so I got it. So it's a gift.
thanks, everybody. Yeah, you bet. Well done. Yeah, thanks, Don. Okay, council. Let's keep going because we've got Jackie here. Come on up, stars. Hi, Jackie.
Hello there.
How are you? Welcome back.
Well, thank you and congratulations on becoming mayor.
Yes, thank you very much. It wasn't a hard, I didn't have to fight anyone tooth and nail, like in years previous. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but, I'm taking it as a positive and, I appreciate the comment. And we've got a really good thing going here. I'm very happy. I've got, two new counselors with us tonight, Ashley and Colin, and Councillor Bain is back, with us again, which is great to have a veteran at the table. So we've got a very well-rounded council and continue to make all the hard decisions here for residents alongside administration. So thank you so much for taking the time to come in, and I'll pass the floor off to you and we'll go through your presentation.
All right. Well, thank you. For those who haven't met me yet, I'm Jackie Seeley. I live in the town of Bassano and travel all over southern Alberta, rural roads supporting stars through municipalities. So very nice to be here again. And I'll do a bit of an overview, a bit of background so that you're all up to speed on everything with stars. And then I have a couple of questions at the end for clarity with council. So stars has been operating for over 40 years now as a nonprofit, as a charity at no cost to the patient. So that is possible thanks to our many donors, like the town of Diamond Valley. Next slide, please. We have a couple updates at STARS. So a new CEO, Dr. John Fro. He was our former chief medical officer since 2012. And so then he took the helm last January, very much an innovator and a critical care expert, like our founder, Dr. Powell. Next slide, please. Sadly, Dr. Powell did pass away at the end of April last year. So, we're very dedicated at STARS to continuing his legacy and changing and innovating new technologies, et cetera, to provide the best chance of survival for patients. But where it all began was when a pregnant woman died from blood loss, leaving a father alone with their newborn. She died from blood loss before she could get to the care that she needed. And so for Dr. Powell, he was the head of Foothills Emergency at the time, and the other founders, they said her death is one too many and something has to be done. We need to get air ambulance off the ground. So that's where it began. Next slide, please. And so if you take a look on the bottom right, we were initially called Lions Air Ambulance, and that's because Lions International provided us with some seed funding and also Lions clubs that helped us get started. Today, the Lions logo is on every single one of our helicopters in recognition of that partnership. In the middle is when the helicopter was painted red and we became STARS Shock Trauma Air Rescue Service. So that fleet, the BK-117, served us well for 37 years. And then in 2021, we began phasing in our fleet of 10 H-145 helicopters. So it's the same as the BK-117, just the newer model. So similar in size and weight and only 2 feet longer in the tail. So we do have 6 bases across Western Canada. So in Alberta, we have Calgary, Edmonton, and Grand Prairie. Saskatchewan, Saskatoon, and Regina, and then a base in Winnipeg, Manitoba. So covering much of Western Canada, from Calgary and Grand Prairie, we do a number of missions into BC as well. Next slide, please. We work with multiple partners in the chain of survival. First and foremost, again, a shout out to your fire department for helping with the safe landing of the aircraft at scene calls. We were out here just last year, I think, and did a bunch of training with your fire department as well. So it's nice to strengthen those relationships with our rural communities and those who help us, as well as the other partners who are all working together to give the patient the best chance. We do have night vision goggle capabilities, so we are able to operate 24/7. Because half of the calls are at night, this really is essential. Next slide, please. The types of missions that we fly for has changed a little bit from what we reported to you last year. Cardiac has surpassed vehicle incidents. So cardiac is 21% of missions, overall missions across Western Canada. Vehicle incidents at 19%. And then a mix of other types of critically ill and injured patient missions are listed there. We do only fly for critically ill or injured patients. Next slide, please. Here is a 5-year mission overview within Foothills County. As you can see, it's a very busy area. So over the last 5 years, since 2021, throughout the whole county, 145 missions flown. And then in addition to that, interfacility transfers, where the hospital has requested that STARS be called. That's where we come into the hospital, pick up the patient and take them to tertiary care in Calgary or, Edmonton possibly sometimes. So to speak specifically to your area, near Diamond Valley, there have been, so your stats are a little bit split because of some of them fall under Black Diamond and some of them fall under Turner Valley. Mm-hmm. And now you can see there's a new line that's just Diamond Valley. So if you want to, you can look at all 3 different lines there. There's a number of scene calls that are near your community. And then a total of 40 interfacility transfers from the hospital over the last 5 years. And when you look at that bottom number, 230, that's 230 lives that have the best chance at survival. And that has a huge impact on community. Next slide, please. Just to do an overview of how we are funded. So as I mentioned earlier, we are a charitable organization. And so first and foremost, we have to fundraise around 36.6 million every year in Alberta alone to balance the budget. 12.2 million per base with 3 bases in Alberta. 15 million per year in block funding comes from our largest donor, Alberta Health Services. And then after that, we still have to fundraise a pretty big number, a little over 10 million, almost enough to pay for 1 base in Alberta. It comes from the STARS lottery. So that's still our #1 fundraiser. So thanks to anybody that does support the lottery. And then after that, it's business, corporate, and individual donations, community-driven fundraisers province-wide, and also the municipal initiative that you've been part of. So all of that makes up the remaining 59% after the government funding. Next slide, please. So speaking to the municipal program, it has changed quite a bit since last year. This map is of Alberta and Northeast BC, and it shows the different levels of support from municipalities alone. So municipalities recognize STARS as an essential extension to the emergency services in their community. And with that, we have 95% of support across the province. 80% of those are regional leaders, including the town of Diamond Valley. And to speak to the map there, the different levels of support are shown there on the, so on the light blue, if you'd like, that is under the $2 per capita. And then as you can see in the navy blue, those are our regional leaders. And that has become a lot more blue over the last year with some increased support and some new partners. So a number of new partners across southern Alberta, mostly since 2023, but a few more joining more recently. And then our 9 provincial leaders are shown in the teal green. So these are at a much higher rate of support, anywhere from 250,000 and up. Many on a standing modes and half stars in their emergency protective services budget. So we do have 9 leaders so far, and one of those is Rocky View County. So we recognized them with another logo unveiling last year for reaching 1 million in cumulative giving. And so we had a Rig Theater barbecue, and we brought the helicopter out and did a logo unveiling there. This year we'll recognize a couple more municipalities. Foothills County has been supporting almost back as far as STARS has been around. So they are now reaching 500,000 in cumulative giving, and they will have a logo unveiling either this summer or fall as well. And then Mountain View County, just north of Rocky View County, will reach the 500,000 this year as well. So it's our way of recognizing and thanking those municipalities for their steadfast support. Regional partnerships continue to grow. So those are outlined in red, and that's where the towns and villages, along with the county or MD, are all contributing at some level in a united effort to maintain this robust and health and safety network that we've built for rural Alberta. Next slide, please. Just to quickly speak to our crew, they are world-class crew, and once again, they took first place at the International Aeromedical Transport Conference simulation competition. So first of all, we compete internally at STARS for which team of 2 that we will send to the competition. And so this year, a very complex farm accident was replicated with 5 patients. And so there's high fidelity mannequins that they work on that blink and breathe and bleed just like you and I do. And so they're graded on their timing, decision making, and ultimately the outcome of the patient. And not only do I mention this because we're proud of what our crew can do, but that's what you're supporting. That we're bringing world-class critical care right to the patient's side in rural Alberta. So thank you very much for your support. Next slide, please. Virtual care continues to happen through the rural hospital. So any rural hospital can access virtual care, and it's fairly easy to access. So basically, as you can see there, the medical professional can click a link on the screen, and now our STARS transport physician out of the Calgary base is able to see the patient on the screen and help with diagnosing that patient, assessing that patient, and then or even walk the medical professional through a procedure that they may not have to often do. So just recently, we've reached 1,000 calls, virtual care calls. So that is another way that we're providing critical care anywhere. Next slide, please. So thank you, Town of Diamond Valley. You are a regional leader contributing. Over the last few years, you've contributed the $3 per capita, and you are on a standing motion. And so what I've seen happen previously when I've attended is you've approved the $3 per capita right at the meeting. But I'm just seeking clarity if this is something you still want to do, like if you want to still approve the $3 per capita at the meeting, or just leave it at that rate. And then secondly, if how often you would like your updates, because typically we've been coming every year. And I think your current policy says that, unless we're making a new ask, then you're not wanting the updates. You're trying to streamline things for council. So
yeah, CEO Davey and I spoke about that, and certainly if that's council's wish, it would still be nice to get this, but we don't necessarily, it doesn't have to be a requirement of you to come and see us once a year. If your time can be spent in other municipalities advocating, as you've mentioned, we're already above that $2 per capita, and we're gonna continue, and at least from my perspective, at that $3. So if your time is spent better advocating to other municipalities that might need a speaking to, then I would encourage that. But again, I would leave it up to council if you feel Jackie has to come every year.
I'd say for new council, that was super helpful to see that, but I don't know if I need to see it every year.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
my
Point.
If you're
fifth
fine, yeah.
year in a row.
Yeah,
That's actually a really
That's
good
my
point,
favorite.
probably the first term,
Yeah.
or first year of the
Yep.
next term. But being a standing motion, as you said,
Mhm.
leave it as is, give us the annual update, we'll add it to our package. And we'll be able to see how well you do.
Okay, so we do send you an impact report every year as well.
Perfect.
So we could come the first year and do the whole presentation. And then send your impact year report each year. Unless we decide to ask you for more money.
Yeah, so yeah, by all means, yes. I don't want this to seem as us brushing you off. If you want to come every year and sit here with us, we're more than willing to listen. This is really important. We had an accident 2 weeks ago, just in between the two towns, and STARS had to land right in the middle of the highway, went right over my house. And
Yeah.
your house too, yeah. And I think the more visible STARS continues to be in the community, the greater the need and the understanding that the community members are gonna have, our residents. When I first started on council, it appeared to me that STARS was being used in essence to do like search and rescues or like stranded hikers. But I've learned that it's much closer to home, especially reading that stat that you mentioned about cardiac arrest, and how that now has surpassed car accidents. So, we're gonna continue to see these helicopters, the more visible they are. The community's gonna understand that the need is great. And it's surprising to me that the province, 15 million sounds great. But I was thinking to myself, imagine if we all had to fundraise to run the ambulances back and forth to all the hospitals,
Yeah.
right? And that's not something that's expected. Of course, if you need to take a hospital or an ambulance ride, you gotta pay $400 if you're not insured. But that likely doesn't cover the full cost of the ambulance itself, the paramedics, everything that's going on. So I'm a bit bewildered that the province continues to pass on the responsibility of this urgent service to fundraising. Like it's shocking to me. So anyways, I just wanted to put that out there.
Well, I could add to that there was a time where we didn't receive any.
Yeah.
Alberta
Right.
Health Services funding.
Yeah.
So we're very appreciative of that big chunk that provides sustainability for us. Their funding doesn't include the cost of education and training of our crew. So that's the difference of having critical care experts coming to you, right to your side, that you're supporting. Yeah, education and training of our crew, administration, and the cost of our emergency link center, our dispatch center. So that is what you're making possible with your contribution.
Well, we're more than happy to continue to contribute and make that a line item as mentioned. CAO Davey?
Thanks, your worship. I would just suggest council under 7.4, the motion's coming out. Something along the lines of to direct annual contribution to budget for the remainder of the terms, 27, 28, 29. So council would review it. So every year we don't have to go through with this until the new term.
Okay, sounds good. Bernie, you got my motion for me? Just kidding.
Almost.
I'll take that one because I've always, after we amalgamated, I actually argue for the $3 versus the $2. And I wish we could go higher. And at some point, I hope that we're in a position where we can. But certainly happy to be a regional leader to continue to support this great service that you provide. We live in a really unique area in respects to distance from major services. Like you said, some people even need to take a ride up to Edmonton. Yeah, we'll continue to support, and I'll be happy to make that motion once we get to 7.4. Are there any final comments or questions for Jackie before we?
Can we make it a requirement they don't fly over our houses?
No, I like it.
Your kids probably love it too.
Yeah, well, one time stuff picks up in the backyard and that was a bit unsettling, but I understand sometimes I gotta get on the ground. I'm like right behind, Ted and I are right behind the hospital, so. Like I said,
Different houses.
we'll be at High Country together one day. Yes, so thank you so much. If there's no questions, Council, Jackie, thanks for coming in and safe trip back. Are you going back home
Thank
tonight?
you. Actually, so I should touch on this a little bit more, that when I'm in the area.
Yeah.
But for example, yesterday I was at the MV of Branchland, this morning I was at Mountain View County. So I actually, I'm covering a number of municipalities in the area in one trip. And so with every year, the presentations are a bit different, like next year we may do the medical overview again. And then we're also going to be sharing more about some of the other areas where we have expertise. So part of this is we really believe in helping to educate, the people who support us. And also by being at a public meeting that is also giving us the opportunity to educate people online or people who are attending the meeting. So I don't mind coming every year, but again, it's what council's wishes are.
Well, feel free to send it to us, and I mean, if there's something that you wish to highlight next year and say, look, this is something way over here that you haven't, that, council hasn't seen, Adam and I can have a conversation about that and, let her know on a basis. But if you come back and say, it's very similar to last year, then we may pass.
Absolutely, your worship, and we can always put presentation in for just consent.
Right.
To read.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. I brought you a couple calendars.
Oh, that's
Getting
great.
a little ways into the year now, but one for your fire department and one for your office. There's always lots of interesting VIP, very important.
Thank you so much, Jackie.
And thank you, Verna, for everything that you do too. Thanks.
We'll travel safe.
Thank you.
Yes.
Always have to watch for deer.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, you do. Yeah.
All right. Have a
Okay.
good night.
Thank you so much. You too. All right, team. We were slated to have the rolling barrage in, but they were busy in Calgary today, which is likely a feel good story for them. So great. I'm sure. Pardon? Was that Edmonton? Oh, sorry, Edmonton. So we will likely hear from them at some point. So that one's off the agenda. And motions arising. I think the only one was just this one, right?
No, we got the lodge.
Oh, that one too.
Lots from the file.
Geez, I almost want to make that one. So, no, you can make that.
Can
Somebody
we-
else.
So if we go back to that slide for the lodge, Vernon, can we wrap it into one motion? Would it be, or, because I was thinking that council commits to approving the 1.25 million contribution, further directing administration to provide that letter of support as requested, understanding that a MOU for project contribution needs to be completed.
Or second, your worship.
Sounds like two motions.
It might be,
Yeah, I like the one, but. Sounds like the money should.
or I have a different one altogether.
Speak slower.
I'll go slow. So let's do the first one. So council commits to 1.25 million toward the High Country Lodge replacement. And council commits 1.25 million toward the High Country Lodge replacement. And is regarding this amount, so I'll say, and directs administration to determine the best
Yes. That's the one.
contribution options to meet this commitment.
Good call.
Yeah, I like that.
So,
motion.
yeah, it's a great motion. And can I speak to it for a sec?
You can.
Yeah, thanks.
Because we still have to do the other two, right?
Yeah, and what I, like, this is for, you know, residents online. Is, I think it's important to note that the 1.25 isn't just gonna be a line item on 1 year, right? CAO Davey and I have talked about this over the last couple of weeks, maybe a month more. And Lisa has come up with a couple different strategies as to how to kind of carry this additional contribution. So we want to put the least amount of stress on our budget, to make sure that this happens, because I believe it's very important to get something like this done in the community. Okay, so great motion. Ted, sorry.
I understood that the 5% or 1.25 million was the 5% of the projected cost. But
Yeah.
you said that, at least I understood it to say that it could cost a lot less. So are we're saying we're gonna give 1.25 million, even if that's 6, 7, 8, 9%?
We can go back to the motion and if you would, Furnish, you showed up.
Is that making sense?
It is making
It does.
sense.
So
Okay.
this is my thought, Ted.
Mhm.
So the council commits 1.25 million per the proposed budget of 25 million. Because it doesn't commit us to more. It
Yeah.
only commit us-
Why don't you say
We're
5%?
Obligated, the way they present
We
it,
are.
we're obligated for 5%.
It is.
Maybe the motion.
But Ted's
is-
is right.
Well, you say, the council commits 5% instead of 1.25,
Yeah, the council commits 5%.
5%.
Worship, I'd go, yeah, I'd actually keep the 1.25 million, so it's grounded.
Yeah.
And then comma, or up to 5%.
Fair enough, because they just need this for the purpose to the next.
They have to
Yeah.
have a specific dollar amount of 1.25.
Yeah,
And keep in mind, she also indicated it was a 30% contingency there.
Yeah.
So if it comes in lower, then
That's
we
right.
don't need the
Yeah.
entirety of that 1.25.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it coming in lower.
No.
No, budgets are usually well done with inflation and a little buffer. and-
Lorenz come under almost every project I've been on with her.
Okay.
Yeah, your worship, if it's the intent of council to go with this, what we're really looking for here is that intent, because it's gonna come into sequencing then, right?
Yeah.
How do we find it, that sort of thing. So I would just say for administration right now, yeah, we're kind of looking for that commitment to direct us and then to go ahead with the letter and enter into the MOU. This would come back for options in the council for actually how to fund it, because we've got some questions in right now on debentures. Because it's not our asset, so there adds some complexity to that. But there are different options here for council to consider.
Great. And one of the interesting things there too is like those admin costs or costs to the town and trying to factor those in to the overall.
Yeah.
Like there might be some in-house things that we can compensate that doesn't directly affect cash.
Correct, your worship. So yeah, Carrie and I talked about it a bit. So yeah, in kind, for those development fees and really on the safety code fees, so you'd have 5 figures of in-kind contribution there.
Perfect. Yeah,
So potential to invest contribution options.
absolutely. Yeah, no, well written. Perfect.
Do we want to add the other elements or is this the standalone you need?
Your worship, I would recommend going after this to also put the direct admin to, or just council to provide the letter of support and to enter into the MOU. Because that's the legality to say how are we going to do it.
Okay. Final question or comments on this one, council? All those in favor? It's carried unanimously. And is there anyone outside of me that wants to make the next motion that CEO Davey just said? Enter into.
So I would recommend your worship, the council provide a letter of support for the AHP application.
Yeah.
And direct administration to enter into an MOU on project contribution. I think we can combine the one.
Okay. I'll make that, or you can make it.
If you want to read it.
Yeah, because I can make the start.
A motion that council provide a letter of support for
Development MOU.
HPP application and
Into?
MOU. Enter into.
development.
That would be entered into.
Yeah.
Oh, and enter.
We're reading it today.
You said some voices here.
Enter into an MOU on project.
Contributions.
I have an echo going on.
No.
Do we want to state for the,
That's why I was
we should put the project on here.
The high country replacement project.
Oh, yeah, because have to have the country line.
Yeah.
A great project, man.
Dude, it's awesome. Okay. Council, comments? All in favor? That's carried unanimously as well. Perfect. Okay. And then the final motion would be to direct administration. Yeah, in regards to stars. To commit an annual,
$3 per
yeah,
until 2020. Through 28.
You see the
29.
Yeah.
So we would go to 20, yeah,
Yeah,
so
so through 2029.
that planet is too cold. The rain.
I think you got 29.
Yes, I did.
More contribution.
Contribution on 29.
That's a long time.
That's a commitment.
Yeah.
We're binding council, no
Yeah.
kidding.
Okay, council, comments?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Should we
That
not say
does-
for stars here?
Are you carrying? the
Yes,
motion?
thank
Yeah,
you.
we should put stars.
I'm making the motion.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I did not
Thank
know
you.
that was shock trauma air rescue.
Sorry, whose motion
Yeah.
was that?
Were you aware?
No,
Thank you.
They do some cool stuff.
do a lot of stuff.
It's a much, like, Zero, they had it with the range.
Yeah.
And they bought helicopters and couldn't even stand up to the problem.
Well, you see the first one, Giants one? Imagine working in that little thing, it's like a clown parrot. Okay, motion on the floor, all in favor? And that too is carried unanimously. Okay, awesome. That is great. A lot of good stuff there.
About 45 minutes they were there. It's crazy.
Okay,
I don't know.
yeah, all right, let's push, because we can take a small break right before we go back into closed time. So we got a few things in front of us here. So we're gonna go to 8.1. This is in regards to what these gentlemen have been waiting for, I believe. So let's just get right to it. Counselor Gordon.
Yeah, I'll start with the first one here. The council gives first reading, bylaw 2026-130, to amend land use bylaw 2021-06 by adding gas bar as a discretionary use in the service commercial district and make contextual amendments under 10.14, section 5, additional setback required.
You have any comments about our
Yeah.
business?
Because
Because I'm sure you've got some things.
So two things very quickly. Number one, it's a great reminder that this is an amendment about use. It's not at the development stage yet, so we're just adding a use to the zone. And the second thing that I really appreciate here is how this aligns to our need within what we articulated about non-residential use. And so I appreciate the investment that these gentlemen are making in our community. Means a lot. Thank you.
I believe it would also take the pressure off the corner of also.
Big time.
Which is kind of a dog show some days.
Yeah.
Counselor Bain, did you have something to say?
I was very concerned when I first saw this, particularly with the comments by the gentleman who had the letter in opposition, especially with that intersection, Third Street and the highway. I've witnessed very close calls there already. And I was also concerned about the environmental aspect. However, I want to thank administration for very clearly outlining how these concerns are going to be addressed and hopefully mitigated, minimized. So. Yeah.
Yep. Nothing further, all in favor? And that's carried. I heard Counselor Rose.
I know, I gotta give something tonight. The bug in my eye. That council give bylaw 2026-130 second reading.
Thank you. All in favor?
Absolutely.
Okay, unanimous. And who wants to give number 3? I can give it.
Yep.
That council agree to present bylaw 2026-130 for third reading at this time. And I believe this is the one that has to be passed unanimously. Yeah, okay. All those in favor?
Absolutely.
And that is carried unanimously. And we can go to number 4, Mr. Fleming.
The council give bylaw 2026-130 to amend land use bylaw 2021-06, third and final reading.
Excellent.
None.
Council, all in favor?
Excellent.
And that too is carried. Do I have?
Nope.
Nope. Okay, I just want to make sure that yeah. Got your answer. You're on the right track. Okay, thanks again. Like Deputy Mayor said, big part of what we're trying to do here as council is support local business and not only attract but promote from within. So thank you for your investment, and you know, if there's anything further that we can do, let us or administration know, and we'll do the best to support you guys. So good luck.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One question, actually, what's your timeline on this?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, seriously.
Now we're in the beginning.
Yeah, sorry.
What's
Now
your
that-
dream?
Thanks, Drew.
Well, how long is the next step gonna take?
Well, that's it. Yeah.
So we'll kind of back at you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, Ashley, you got an answer to that one.
I played it at Carrie.
Yeah.
Carrie.
Well, this is the first big step.
Yeah.
So you guys are,
Yeah.
yeah.
We've
Yeah.
mostly groundwork done to do the development permit. We've had geotechnical and all the surveys done already.
Perfect.
So we needed this to keep spending money on the next step.
You get the TIA.
Well, that's gonna be the next thing,
Yeah.
right? So.
Yeah.
So everything's in line now. We can just ask them to move forward with it.
Perfect.
With the engineer, we've got that set up through Alberta Transport.
Excellent.
We're just gonna say go.
Awesome. Good luck.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good
Yeah.
for you guys.
Yeah.
Thank
Wicked.
you.
Okay, and thank you Denise, Carrie, everyone that was involved. Excellent report. Okay, action items 9.1. This was something that came to me from Xenia, in regards to a,
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you,
have a
guys.
good night, gentlemen. Oh my goodness, the word fails me. Like, access, an accessible playground. So that's what I was looking for. So I forwarded it off to Verna. Verna stick handled it back with Xenia. It is here in front of you. Fairly standard, and it just,
Oh, okay.
yes, and yes, they did.
Okay, perfect.
They've probably got one of the best playgrounds in Southern
Yeah, it's
Alberta.
awesome.
It's at an elementary school. Yeah,
It
it's
was fun
crazy.
putting it together, but it was fun.
Yeah. So it's in front of you. If you have any questions, by all means, let me know. Otherwise, let's just get some motions rolling here, and I'm looking for motion 1.
I'll give it to you.
Please do.
That council authorizes Mayor Brendan Kelly to sign the requested letter of support for the Turner Valley School Inclusive Playground Enhancement Project as presented, and directs administration to forward the signed letter to the Turner Valley School Parent and Teacher Association.
Perfect.
A little bit of context here as well. Their funding request was turned down, so that's why they
Yes.
wanted a little bit more strength and support.
Yeah.
Supported this with the Lions.
We did.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, and one of those networking things is, you know, I was at the volunteer appreciation at the library with Hazel, Jonathan was there, Ted was there. And this is when Xenia brought it up to me. So it's, you know, just kind of that rubbing shoulders. She's like, hey, do you mind giving me some support in this? And I'm like, I don't see why we wouldn't. It's just another thing for the community to have. It supports our younger kids and certainly kids that have a greater need to get outside and have some fun. So with that being said, all those in favor? Perfect, and that's carried. I think that was the only one we needed for there. Yeah, perfect. Okay, let's keep going. Proclamation, National Public Works Week. Still one? Yeah.
Make the motion, then go do the declaration.
Yeah, you're gonna have to give me the motion first,
Good.
please.
Council declare May 17th, 23rd, 2026 National Public Works Week in the town of Diamond Valley.
Awesome, thank you very much. All those in favor? Great. Not that there's anything wrong with these, but it's like, it seems like every other week there's a declaration or a proclamation of some kind. I don't have anything, there's nothing wrong with it, it's just like a lot.
But can we make others?
Not a word.
These are the fun ones though. Yay.
Yeah, no, I mean, all the respect to Public Works, it's just, there's always something that's, you're like, Okay, anyways, here we go. National Public Works Week, May 17th to the 23rd, 2026. Rooted in service, powered by community proclamation. Whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of Alberta. And whereas these infrastructures, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals who are engineers, managers, and employees at all levels of government and the private sector who are responsible for building, improving, and protecting our nation's transport, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas it is in the public interest of the citizens, civic leaders, and children in Alberta to gain knowledge of and maintain an ongoing interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. And whereas the year 2026 marks the 66th annual National Public Works Week, sponsored by the American Public Works Association, Canadian Public Works Association. Be it now resolved. I, Brendan Kelly, Mayor of the town of Diamond Valley of Alberta, do hereby designate the week of May 17th to 23rd, 2026 as National Public Works Week. I urge all citizens to join with representatives of the American Public Works Association, the Canadian Public Works Association, and government agencies in activities, events, and ceremonies designed to pay tribute to our public works professionals, engineers, managers, and employees, and to recognize the sustainable contributions they make to protecting our national health, safety, and advancing quality of life for all. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand, done at the town of Diamond Valley of Alberta, this 6th day of May, 2026.
You gotta get.
That was a mouthful.
That's too funny.
That's awesome.
Okay, let's go to the SDAB appointment, and
You wanna make that one?
I believe, I just talked for about 4.5 minutes.
Ted needs to make the
There we
ring.
go.
Go ahead, Ted.
The council appoint Barry Crane to the Intermunicipal Subdivision and Development Appeal Board, subject to successful completion of the required training and certification. And I have nothing to add. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. All in favor?
Get her done.
Okay, excellent, and
Motion.
I think, yes, there we go, notice of motion,
It's actually a motion.
sorry,
Should be an action item. So this was a notice of motion I brought forward in our last meeting,
yes,
and so we just read it, but now it's actually something that we need to take an action on. And so the background behind this is the concern that we've heard among our residents for the last several months about our narrow lots and what the buildings, residential dwellings look like upon that. So during a discussion that we had around our MDP, if you recall, there's a question on how we can introduce some architectural controls without going into a major expensive overhaul of the land use bylaw. And so the direction suggested at the time was just to maybe focus on how the primary entrance and exit can be. And so the motion here is that I'm going to make the motion, then we can discuss it. I'll speak to the value of it. That council directs administration to provide the following amendment to both land use bylaws 21-1114 and 2021-06. And the motion is follows: that the residential dwelling unit on the R1N lot shall have its principal entry and exit facing the primary street on which the lot is situated. And speaking to that, I'm just concerned about, we have the appeal that we're looking for in our community, so that when we have these narrow lots, they don't tend to look like a trailer park. We want to keep from that. So this is an easier way that we can go forward with it. And this would be why I have made that motion.
thanks, John. Council, are there any thoughts or considerations here on this?
I'd like to add a space between
I think the space is already,
And the
Parts
land,
of the lot.
and the land use bylaw will, like, once it's redone, will likely address that as well.
yeah. Yeah, the spaces are already
Yeah.
there, like the setbacks in the R1N. Yeah.
Okay.
But even to that point, Colin, that was one of my concerns when it, and the concern that came to the attention was the lots on First Avenue, right?
Yeah.
And how the doors were beside each other and very awkward in it, not fairly, based on what residents said, the appeal was not what they
Oh my
expected.
God.
So that was a bit of a mistake on my part at the time. I kind of didn't realize what that would look like.
Oh, well, I know that too.
I think
We all,
we
we
all
all,
own that,
we all
right?
made that, yeah, we
Yeah.
all made that decision together. That wasn't just one person.
Yeah, like these developments that we're approving, it'd be nice to have a picture that we're
Well,
approving.
Even to that point, Colin, I had some fun with Copilot. And I put in a lot of the different elements and the end result was I was asking Copilot to produce a visual of a front facing lot that was this wide with a 16-foot house on it with a front facing entry in it. Like, the majority of lots have this in Southeast Calgary
Mhm.
and they're actually quite attractive.
Okay, well. If everyone's comfortable with it, I
Yeah.
assume we're gonna vote on this.
Yeah, we need to.
Yeah. Okay, well, all those in favor? Cause I'm in favor. Okay, awesome, unanimous. Yeah, great motion, John. Thanks for bringing that forward.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's it for the second part of our meeting, right? We're going into closed again for a minute.
Let's make that motion.
Yeah, let's take a motion, go into closed, and then we'll we don't expect to have any motions coming out of closed. This is an update for us, this is a conversation.
Worship.
Just want to let people online know.
We take a recess.
We are going to. Yeah. I just wanted to let people online know before we go into close, so we don't expect anything to happen after we come back from close. So you're welcome to stick around and see us wrap up the meeting, but for all intents purposes, the public portion of this meeting's over. So,
Good night, Clover.
oh, good night. Who's giving me a motion to go into close?
Ashley.
Counselor,
Are we going recess in closed?
we usually go into close before,
Technically, you should reset first, but
oh, yeah, okay, well, let's recess then.
it's
Okay, let's recess. Thanks, Dave. We'll recess for 6 minutes and then we'll come back.